Alright, we're back. Hey everyone, welcome back to And by the Masquerade, Coteries of New York. I just realized that because I switched my camera onto the left side, now you can't see the title of the game, but whatever. The camera on the right side was covering the characters' faces, so it's a lose-lose situation. So, hey, I did another cute little cosplay moment. I know you kind of can't see on camera, but this lipstick is not black, it's dark purple, but I think it looks black on camera, which is fine, whatever. I'll live with it. Also, I may have gone a little overboard with the eye makeup, but sometimes you just gotta commit to the bit. So, before we get started, as always, just some quick housekeeping in the chat. Exclamation point, map. In the chat stands for Masquerade for Palestinians. The link will lead you to the Masquerade for Palestinians website, where you can learn more about the organization. Basically, does what it says on the tin, gets very much needed medical aid and supplies to Palestinians. And they're also trying to supply Lebanon with aid as well, because Israel has bombed the shit out of Lebanon as well, because they're genocidal pieces of shit. So please donate if you can. Exclamation point BDS in the chat stands for boycott, divestment, and sanctions. The link will lead you to the website for the BDS movement, where you can learn more about BDS. Basically, it is a call from Palestinians to the international community to boycott Israeli goods, divest from Israeli institutions, and attempt to place sanctions on the Israeli government. We engage in these tactics in an attempt to reach BDS's core demands, which are the right of return for all Palestinians. For those of you who don't know what the right of return means, I was actually kind of a little unsure about the details as well, but I did some reading recently on the Decolonize Palestine website, which is a fantastic resource that I have talked about on stream before, and I also have a command for it that we'll get to later. In the history of Palestine, basically, before the state of Israel was created, obviously, in order to do that, Palestinians who were living there back when it was historical Palestine needed to be displaced and kicked from their homes, to be moved and essentially segregated into the little chunks that would become Palestine, what we know of Palestine today, the Gaza Strip and the West Bank. I'm randomly gesturing to try and indicate a map, but I don't know how well that's coming across, but you can look it up for yourself. So yeah, the right of return is basically let the people and their descendants who originally lived there in those houses return to their homes, please, in their original land before they were kicked out and displaced from it, because the British decided they wanted to get rid of their Jewish population by saying that they were going to create a Jewish state for the sake of I can't remember how they phrased it, but it was basically just a ploy to dump a bunch of Jewish people somewhere else so they didn't have to deal with them during the 40s. Anyways, so that's the right of return. Also, equal rights for all Palestinian citizens, very important. And an end to the occupation, obviously. So yeah, definitely learn more about that. Exclamation point Palestine. In the chat, we'll give you two links. The first link is for the booklet made by the wonderful people over at Game Assist. It'll give you information on the situation in Palestine, what's going on regarding Israel's genocide against and ethnic cleansing against the Palestinian people, how to get involved with the Free Palestine movement, how to stop that, as well as useful information about the connections between Israel and the gaming industry, because they are significant. So definitely check that out. Sorry, I can't stop playing with my rings again. The second link is for the Decolonize Palestine website, which I mentioned earlier. It'll give you lots of very, very useful information on the history of Palestine, right back to the Ottoman Empire era, and then the British Mandate of Palestine, and the colonization of Palestine, leading right up to the Nakba in the 40s. Nakba is Arabic for catastrophe. Ugh, can't speak. Basically, when the bunch of Palestinians, like I mentioned, were forcibly displaced from their land, and the ones who wouldn't be displaced were killed. And the creation of Israel and all that jazz. So definitely read about that, as well as common debunking common Zionist myths and talking points. That's also very important, as well as a very good reading list on Palestine that you should definitely check out. So very good resource. Definitely check out that link. ! CW in the chat. It says for content warnings. It'll give you the list of content warnings for this game. They are as follows. Discussions and depictions of violence. I said that way too cheerfully. Death, murder, mentions of sex. I don't think we've gone to that yet, but I just kind of assumed it was going to happen because it's a vampire game. And Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines is pretty, like, sex-saturated, but, like, I'm sure we'll get there eventually, so I'm just going to leave it on there. Mental distress, suicidal ideation, and ableism. And I think that's it. We're just gonna get started. And we should be able to start right where we left off. For a moment, you let yourself wonder if there will ever come a night when it's just not there. Given what you've learned thus far, you probably have as much chance of kickstarting your heart with jumper cables. You lock the door behind you and head over to Sophie's apartment. You did promise to call on her. Might as well not keep the lady waiting. And hey, what else are you gonna do? Call M? She's probably worried. At least she will be when she actually tries to give you a call, which might not happen for a few more weeks. Months, if she's busy doing press for her new piece. You could try to track down your sire, if the sheriff hasn't done that already. After all, he did buy your painting. There has to be a money trail, right? But even so, what would you say to him? These thoughts put you in a weird mood. It's a strange sensation to walk the crowded streets, same as you have so many times before, but feeling so disconnected. All these people, you're not one of them. Not anymore. You're a vampire. Kindred, and you need to carve your own path in this strange new existence, one way or another. Appropriately enough, you arrive at Sophie's building just as that thought crosses your mind. A quick word with the security guard, and you're let into the elevator. Apparently, Miss Langley is expecting you. Of course she is. You knock and wait, patiently, as the footsteps on the other side grow closer. Finally, the door opens, and Gregory, Sophie's driver, invites you in. You find the lady herself standing by the window, silhouetted against the city's midnight glow. She stares out, motionless, like a marble statue. She looks appropriately brooding. Everything alright? Is everything alright? She doesn't react immediately, but seems to snap out of some meditative state and looks at you with strangely bleary eyes. Yes, it is. How kind of you to ask. Tell me. When you look out at this city, when you see the lights, hear the hum, smell the rain on the pavement, what do you think about? You gaze out. You thought the city couldn't surprise you anymore. You've lived here all your life, after all. But tonight something feels different. You realize in this moment that you have truly changed. Yes, you know what Sophie means, the way she gazed out that window and saw the truth beyond. You do the same. The view is fascinating, each detail absorbing, every angle a new experience, the familiar made sublime. When you turn to Sophie again, she smiles at you knowingly. Ah, so you understand. I have my doubts, but perhaps we are of shared lineage after all. There we go. Now, okay, so they do call them clans. You see, the blood that flows within me is that of Clan Toreador. There are 13 such bloodlines among us kindred, though that number has been contested in the past, and these nights, it seems that nothing is certain anymore. The clans have gone by many epithets over the years, but the names used these knights have their roots in medieval times, the original Inquisition, if you can believe it. They used these to categorize us, describe our inherent differences. In time, we adopted them ourselves. Each clan has a uniqueness about it, inescapable, originating from an ancient progenitor. Is that how you pronounce it? Progenitor. Carried from sire to child. For the Toreador, the gift lies in a sensitivity of sorts. We are uniquely attuned to the beauty and ugliness both. We can see either where most cannot. A blessing on most nights, occasionally a curse. Kadir is Toreador? That surprises me. The sheriff is of my clan as well, although you'd be hard-pressed to see him as such. Poor Kadir. It breaks my heart to see him in this state. Still, there is beauty to it as well. Nothing like a good fall from grace. Yeah, Toreadors are the sensitive artistes of the vampire bunch. Okay, bloodline. Yeah, a vampire's heritage, see also clan. A bloodline of vampires who share common characteristics passed on through the blood, from sire to child. There are 13 known clans, all of which were reputably founded by members of the third generation. Oh wait, I forgot to read Clan Toreador. No, I read all of these. Fuck you. Clan Toreador. Many Toreador emerge from the ranks of accomplished artists, both new and faded. But not all artists need to wield a brush. To the Toreador, art encompasses all forms of entertainment and stimulation. The Clan of the Rose courts the greatest actors, singers, writers, dancers, and even sex workers. Nice, slay. If the degenerates believe such mortals will offer something new to their clan, that word kind of jumps out at you. Degenerates? Like, anytime I see that word, like, as a queer person, instantly alarm bells are going off in my head, like, danger, danger, Kill Bill sirens. I think that's interesting, given the connection between, like, queerness and vampires. Despite the custom of embracing only the best, the Toreador fixation on beauty and innocence has caused many a diva to make a fledgling in haste. Many a moonlit night, new clan members have emerged as shallow hedonists, one-hit wonders, or just a stunning body with nothing else to offer. Nicknames, I think it's devas, actually, not divas. Devas, harlots, sensates, perverts, hedonists, degenerates. Try as she might to act playful, you can tell she genuinely cares. She lets her gaze wander for a brief moment, but is quick to regain her composure. Then there are the Ventru, known for their pride and proclivity to rule over others. The prince represents that clan, as is quite common in our society around the globe. Yeah, the Ventru are often in charge, which I think is interesting, given the fact that they're the, 1% corporate or overlords, blue blood vampires. Where the blue bloods think themselves rulers, the Bruja like to see themselves as permanent revolutionaries. They call for the universal rebellion while being slaves to their own temper. We don't discuss the rabble much anymore. Not after they've largely broken off with the Camarilla. To think they were philosophers once, long ago. I'd love to tell you more about some of the other bloodlines tonight. What's my clan? Do you know what my clan is? No, I can only guess it. Based on certain aspects of your behavior and tastes. You'll need to come to your own conclusion and seek validation from your clanmates if you require such a thing. As you will no doubt learn, some kindred fit these stereotypes more than others. The blood is hard to deny, though there are certainly those who try. But that is perhaps a subject for another time. I invited you here for a reason. There is something I wanted to speak to you about. It is customary in our society, especially among younger kindred, to organize into coteries. Sometimes these are called by the prince themselves, or mandated by a fledgling sire. Here we go, now we're actually talking about coteries. In our case, you may treat it as more of a strong recommendation. I want you to seek out companions, not only because you need to learn more about our society, but also because it is useful. True friendships are rare among kindred, but having allies, even temporary ones, is something of a necessity these nights. We might be selfish creatures, but we are drawn to each other nonetheless. Where should I look for allies? You have your own coterie. What if I want to go it alone? Do you have your own coterie? So tell me, are you part of a coterie? Any close allies? I do have those that I trust enough to work with, yes. Not a coterie exactly, although I have joined several of those over the years. Not in over a century, though. You, however, you would do well to meet some of the city's younger kindred and see if you can find a connection. It's an essential experience for one so young. She puts on a mysterious smile. I spent some of my precious time last night asking around, pondering potential kindred for you to meet. Came up with a short list of contacts. I hope you'll appreciate the gesture. Forging a partnership with them might offer perspectives and viewpoints that I cannot provide, lenses through which to view our kind. They are all members of the Camarilla, of course, more or less. Okay, who are they? Alright then, let's hear it. Who's on the list? Eager to learn about them, I see. Good, I'm glad. So let's start with the Tremere. They are a powerful clan, disliked by many, but feared and respected by many more. They have been an important pillar of the Camarilla since the very beginning. They are blood sorcerers. Yeah, the Tremere are the warlock vampires. The ones that do magic. Okay, so we got Clan Ventru. While many other clans claim positions of influence in mortal politics and business, no one can rival the Ventru in the game of pure power and wealth. They have long been the leaders of the Camarilla, holding more positions of power than any other clan, and they are loath to give that up. The Ventru believe in the strength of tradition and lineage. The embrace is one of their most important rituals, and the choice of child affects the way other members of the clan treat the sire. The Ventru, therefore, aim to embrace overachievers, politically or financially powerful kind, or those with a talent that sets them apart from the masses. They maintain that they are designed to rule all kindred, no matter the sacrifices involved. Their detractors call them little lords, Borgias, like bourgeoisies, and tyrants. Those who respect Ventru for keeping the Camarilla together use terms like blue bloods, patricians, or warlords. Oh, blue bloods is a term of respect. I didn't know that. Well, never mind that then. Actually, I want to keep reading. So we've got Coterie, a small group of kindred united by the need for support and sometimes common interests. Final death, when a vampire ceases to exist, crossing the line from undeath into true death. I think we read that already. Clan Bruja have always embraced from the ranks of those sympathetic to counterculture and revolution. They seek out allies who question normative ideas and recognizing the fire of the oppressed. They gravitate towards the underdog. Common perception place punks. Gang members, maladjusted immigrants rejected by the society that should protect them. And placard-carrying and Molotov-wielding rioters among the Bruja. While the above is sometimes true, the clan adheres to no single ideology, and their desire for dissent reaches as deep as the frauder ripping off his own company, the lawyer representing the poor pro bono, the neo-Nazi claiming to be alt-right, and the basement dweller downloading thousands of movies illegally for redistribution on streaming sites. So this is the issue with the Bruja. They're not like, they don't have morals, they don't have a like ideology, they don't have a political what do you call it? A political position, a political stance. They're just about rebellion and like going against the grain for the sake of going against the grain. They don't actually like inherently always care about oppressed people or helping the oppressed, which is an issue in my eyes. Because rebellion for rebellion's sake is just noise. It's pointless and childish. Where are we? Fledglings embraced to fight and protest are commonly referred to as rebels, punks, or rabble. Okay, Clan Tremere, a heretic mage in 8th century Romania. Tremere was the leader of cabal of magic users, rightfully feared for their obsession with knowledge and power. Unwilling to accept his own mortality, Tremere cast his eyes on the hallowed secret of immortality. In his greed, the mage instigated the most terrifying magical experiments ever conducted, damning himself and his followers to a hell of their own making. Terrified, they died and woke again to an eternity of unlife and hunger, cut off from their craft. In a mockery of their former magical rituals, now only fresh blood allows the Tremere to cast their thaumaturgic spells to twist reality. The clan is still organized like an initiatory occult order, recently fractured into a number of competing houses, each claiming to be the rightful heir of Tremere's legacy. They see true power as knowing the ways of shaping the world, having access to the right blood, and owning the rarest of ancient artifacts. They're usually referred to as warlocks, hemetics, or transgressors. Okay, I think that's it. Blood sorcerers. You could swear you once saw them play at the Apollo. Probably not the same blood sorcerers, though. That's funny. Sophie snickers. Oh, child, don't be caught with that look on your face when you meet a warlock in person. They are really adept at using vitae, their own as well as others' unique and potent effects. Since they are quite rigid in their hierarchy, the kindred I had in mind for you might need some persuading. His name is Agathon. From what I hear, he is quite the scholar, very ambitious, the child of a noted Tremere here in New York. Aisling Sturbridge. Spend enough time with Agathon, and I'm sure you'll run into her sooner or later. Blood magic, intriguing. A scholar sounds boring. A chance to meet an important person, then? Blood magic, intriguing. This whole blood magic thing sounds intriguing. Oh yes, fascinating. It is also a well-kept secret of the Tremere. Don't expect them to share it right away. Some things have to be earned. Anyway, if you wish to contact the young Tremere, I hear you can usually find him in a New Age bookstore out on Broadway. The Tremere have one of their workshops there. Gregory will give you the details. Now, this next recommendation comes with a bit of a caveat. As you recall me saying, most bloodlines have unique features that might not be obvious at first glance. Well, there is one clan whose members wear their curse on their sleeve. I have a feeling she's talking about the Nosferatu. Yep, the Nosferatu. Wait, Nosferatu? As in the German expressionist classic? No way. No wonder they make their havens in sewers, abandoned buildings and such. Their appearance is hideous and obviously unnatural. Okay, that's fucking rude, by the way. I also want to say a bit about the interesting thing about the Nos and the Malks is they're both like disabled coded in the sense that the Malkavians are like mad coded, neurodivergent coded, mentally ill coded, whatever you want to say, and like the Nosferatu, you could argue, are like stand-ins for disabled people in the sense that they represent people who have the politically incorrect and offensive term would be deformities, but a lot of people who have like facial and limb differences, burns, scarring, etc. I really don't like people using that term, obviously, because it's pretty derogatory. You can just say people with facial differences or burns or scarring, like I just did, or limb differences, or various like things like that. Things that people might interpret as ugly or scary because they don't fit into like normative, particularly Western European beauty standards. And I think it's interesting that like when you play Bloodlines, the experience of playing as a Malkavian or as a Nosferatu is so vastly different in the game as opposed to any of the other clans, because like playing as a Malkavian and also playing as a Nosferatu completely changes dialogue and how people react to, how characters react to your character in such different ways, and there's so many things that are blocked off to you and you have to go about in different ways because you are basically disabled in the Vampire the Masquerade world. And I find that so fascinating and kind of unintentionally brilliant, because that is the disabled experience politically and socially, right? Not being able to navigate the world like most people do, and not being able to approach things the way other people do, and having to often find creative workarounds to things. That is oppression, that is disability. That's what we say when we talk about the social model of disability being disabled by society and the way it's structured rather than your disability itself. It's actually kind of like shitty the way, like, because I played as Malkavian in Bloodlines, the way everyone reacts to you, they're so mean about the fact that you're Malkavian. Except for the other Malkavians, they're like, oh, you're crazy, you're like batshit, your Malkavians are weird, like, oh, they're always spouting nonsense, and they say these things to your face, to your character's face, and it's like, Jesus, guys, like, I'm fucking standing right here, but that's literally what some people are like IRL, to people who have, like, obvious types of like neurodivergency and don't seem like quote-unquote normal. Had they walked in the streets like other kindred, the kind would have learned of our existence long ago. Well, that's probably true. Did she just shudder? It's hard to tell with her usual complexion, but you could swear her skin suddenly took on an even more sickly color. The one I have in mind isn't as big an eyesore as the worst of them, but he's no Adonis either. Or Adonis either. Still, he has some talents and connections that you might find useful. His name is D'Angelo, and he has an office, for lack of a better term, in the otherwise abandoned grain terminal in Red Hook, right next to one of those Swedish stores. The name escapes me. The one with the awful furniture. Is she talking about IKEA? Is this bitch talking about IKEA? The one with the awful furniture? The Swedish one? The name escapes me? That's fucking hilarious. What? IKEA? A Swedish furniture store, you mean IKEA? Yes, that's it. My mind struggles to retain things that are aesthetically displeasing. You take that back. IKEA has some great furniture. I think this desk might be IKEA. I'm not positive. But there's definitely some shit in here that's from IKEA. There's definitely stuff in my room that's from IKEA. Oh. Sorry. Are my teeth okay? Yeah. D'Angelo does odd jobs for Kadir, digging up dirt, locating kindred who prefer to remain hidden, the kind of work the Nosferatu are best at. He's on a case right now, something to do with kind murders, I think. After your initial brush with our dear sheriff, I think it would be wise to show some goodwill towards his agenda. Assisting D'Angelo with his investigation might be just the thing. She takes a brief pause to look out the window again. Now come the two more exotic proposals. Exotic? As if the blood mage and the vampire detective were business as usual. may have heard about the Gangrel before. They are a wild clan, in touch with their beast in ways others might not dare to attempt. They mostly keep out of big cities, but there are exceptions. Yeah, the Gangrel are, kind of animalistic, almost werewolfy vampires, as I understand it. Nominally, they haven't been a part of the Camarilla for over 2 decades, but the one kindred I'd like you to meet has strong, shall we say, familial ties to the sect. Her name is Tamika. Her sire, Jezebel, was instrumental during the Battle of New York back in 1999. The very same battle that cemented the city as a Camarilla domain. Sadly, her achievements have gone largely unrecognized. Tamika and a number of her siblings still reside in the domain they were awarded after the battle, Prospect Park. Jezebel herself left the city some years ago, fed up with being underappreciated. Honestly, good for Jezebel. Anything more about Tamika? You mentioned siblings. Should I contact non-Camarilla clans? I feel like I already know the answer to that. Anything more about Tamika? You seem to know a lot about her sire, but is there anything else you can tell me about Tamika? I asked around. Out of all of Jezebel's childhood, Tamika is known to be the most rational and cool-headed, at least for a gangrel. That said, she is likely to have a unique way of appraising your worth. I cannot say how exactly, but you should be prepared for an interesting conversation at the very least. Then again, that could be said of almost every kindred in this city. There's that mysterious smile again. You see, seeking out Tamika could prove quite educational. If nothing else, who knows, perhaps you will find her temperament to be a welcome change of pace. But speaking of a change of pace, I have one last suggestion for you, though it is one I don't make lightly. The kindred who calls herself Hope. Yeah, that's the Malkavian. She is Malkavian. They are a uniquely cursed clan. For centuries, we considered them mad, insane, unhinged, but those of us who spend enough time with them come to understand the truth. It is no sickness, but a unique perception of the world that has them appear to us as unstable, and that perception can prove to be very reliable. See, that's interesting. That's interesting, right? Because it plays with, like, the disability politics idea of, like, what is madness, right? What is mental illness? What is neurodivergence? Other than, like, a deviation from the norm. And what is the norm other than, like, what the majority of society decides it to be? And that is highly political, and that is highly cultural. That is based in, like, societal and cultural norms. So it's literally just a matter of perspective. So I find it interesting that the idea of the Malkavians plays with that. Like, are they cursed? Are they mad? Or are they just gifted? It's kind of a matter of perspective. But I also kind of dislike the framing of, like, the game trying to, like, move away from wanting the player to view them as insane or wanting to call them mad or insane or unstable, because, like, you don't get to basically create the crazy clan and have that be the understanding and have bloodlines be riddled with ableism and a lot of, like, unfortunate implications and characterizations that I will probably be getting into once I stream Bloodlines on this channel, and also when I eventually do a video essay on psychiatry in gaming, because I want to do a whole deep dive, and that's going to be one of the games that I discuss. I'm going to, like, go into the Malkavians in greater detail when I finally start researching that video essay, but I have a whole bunch more games to play first. You don't get to do all of that, create the problem, and then not address it, and then try and, like, walk it back by being like, oh, no, they're not crazy. Like, no, you made your bed, now you have to fucking lie on it. You made the crazy clan, you don't get to try and take that back now. Like, especially when, like, so many mad people, like, obviously heavily relate to the Malkavians and see ourselves in them. And, like, feel kind of weirdly represented by them, even if it's in like a problematic way. The nature of representation is sometimes messy. Like, isn't always smooth sailing. Like, the thing about good representation is, like, it's highly subjective and personal, and, like, there can be aspects that are, like, good in some ways and bad in other ways. Like, some representation, like the significance of, like, when it was created and, like, the time that it was produced in is also, like, relevant to discussing it as representation. Like, for the L Word, for example, has its issues, but, like, it was, like, it's a fucking big deal that show was made, especially in the 90s, and, like, there are problematic aspects to it, but it's still, like, I'll be honest, it still means a lot to me as a lesbian. And then there's the other thing, that perception can prove very valuable. The whole thing where, like, the Kindred want to use Malkavians to their advantage because, like, they occasionally might have visions that might be useful, and, like, the princes in particular often want to, like, capitalize on that and use them to their advantage, and it's, like, so fucking typical, right? Like, you're gonna socially ostracize someone and discriminate against them for being quote-unquote crazy or mad or weird, and then once, like, they have a talent that is useful to you, then you're gonna try and, like, profit off of it or, like, use it to your advantage. Like, that's so fucking typical in terms of disability. But anyways, having a Malkavian as your companion might be taxing on the nerves and a true test of patience at times, but their insight and intuition are unrivaled amongst kindred. As for Hope specifically, she is said to be a recluse, but I have it on good authority that she can be currently found in an internet cafe, I believe it's called, in Lower Manhattan. Gregory has the address. There's still internet cafes around this time? When was this game made? Like, I think it was maybe in the mid-2000s, I'm not totally sure. Where did you learn about Hope? Where did you learn about her exactly? One of my colleagues told me about her. He considers her uniquely talented and tapped into the current fads among kind. Not something I'm personally interested in, as I'm sure you know by now. I take his word for it, at any rate. Well, I believe that's all of them. I still have a few social calls to make tonight, so I'll leave you to it. Use tonight and tomorrow night to arrange some cordial visits of your own. I will send Gregory for you as soon as I have further need of your services. Oh, that reminds me. You'll need a car. Join us downstairs, won't you? She's just giving me a car? Fucking cool. She smiles once more and turns to her driver. I find it hard sometimes to drop the like airy, breathy voice that I do for Sophie, and like I start doing it in my narration, and I'm like, no, that's not right. She smiles once more and turns to her driver. He helps her put on a coat, and the three of you leave Sophie's apartment. Sophie points to one of the cars near the building as Gregory hands you the keys. It's a rather inconspicuous, compact car, a decent-looking, if not luxurious ride. Stay safe, Ash. This is your first night alone. Don't let it be your last. As they drive away, you find yourself with more freedom than you've had for the past few nights. A blessing or a burden? Time will tell. With the list of addresses in hand, you consider your next move. Alright. Who are we gonna visit first? Ow! My fucking legs are cramping. Okay. We have Hope. I know that's Hope because I've seen people play this before. Hope. That's Tamika. Who's this? Gumshoe in the Dark. That's the Nosferatu. Oh, he doesn't even look that Nosferatu. Are you kidding me? He just has like a bit of a crooked jaw and some teeth missing. Don't be dramatic. D'Angelo, yeah, Searching for Hope. A Kind of Magic, that's Agathon, the Tremere, so we got 4 of them. So, I definitely want to visit Hope first, I think. Sophie suggested you meet Hope, a reclusive member of the Malkavian clan. She's supposedly holed up in an internet cafe in Lower Manhattan. Accept. Let's do it. think I want to turn up the heat a bit because I'm chilly. It's a quiet, moody internet cafe. Half of its space serves as a comfy coffee bar these days, but behind a glass wall, it still has a space dedicated to rows of PCs. From the street, you can notice tired adults in casual clothes typing away absent-mindedly and some bored kids wasting the late evening hours on colorful online games. Sophie's intel is to be believed. This is where Hope has set up her haven. One of the waiters is standing outside the building, gazing at the sky with a smartphone in one hand and a vape pen in the other. Don't vape. Not just because it's bad for you, but also because it needs cobalt, which is mined from the Congo using basically slave child labor. You buying shit that has cobalt in it contributes to the exploitation of the Congo and its people. So don't be vaping, don't be buying vapes. Just as a little PSA. You approach the man and tell him, I'm looking for Hope. He releases a soft chuckle. Yeah, you and me both. The man slowly takes a drag from his e-cig, sizing you up and down in silence. After a long, awkward moment, when you're ready to leave him be, he raises his voice again. Come, right this way. He heads back into the cafe and you follow his lead. God, that fucking scares me. When you make your way through the space with computers, no one averts their gaze from the spreadsheets, emails, Facebook profiles, or games of Fortnite. It's a common sight, one you wouldn't have paid much attention to a few weeks ago, but now it seems so unnervingly quaint. Would they still be spending their time like this if they were immortal? The waiter unlocks an unassuming door at the end of the room and lets you inside. You two swiftly make your way through a labyrinth of sterile gray corridors, taking confusing twists and turns. Feels like you're traveling into a different world, crossing one invisible portal after another. Eventually, you reach your destination. Your guide motions you to enter a dark room with a lone source of pale light, a computer screen in the distance beckoning you to come closer. This is a fucking vibe, can I just say? I absolutely love the vibes here. This is the vibe of a neurodivergent person. The stacks of paper, the mess, the little, cozy nook in the side. The masks on the wall are so, Malkavian coded. I love it. I love the vibes. I love the fact that she's, basically, a gamer girl. Kinda. It's cute. As you do, you hear the doors shutting behind your back, and a short chuckle echoing behind it. Is this the place? Nothing else to do but sit on a chair in front of the computer. The monitor displays a modern chat application. A cursor is blinking in the user nickname entry field in the middle of the screen, obviously expecting you to input your handle. After brief consideration, you type in... Oh, it's not going to tell me? Your name, a string of random characters, or something goofy. Well, I don't want to necessarily take chances with this, so I'm just going to say your name. Ash. Better play it straight and prove you have nothing to hide as a gesture of goodwill. After a few seconds, the chat window opens and messages start appearing on the screen in quick succession. Oh, I can't read that fast. Okay, so we bastard, hostage executioner, sexy bozo. Wait, who is Ash? Ash? No idea. New user wasn't here before. What the hell? Was anyone informed? No announcement. At Ash, identify yourself within 2 minutes or get banned. The chat goes silent, everyone seemingly waiting for you to say something before proceeding. This must be a close-knit group. Better say something before they kick you out. I'm looking for Hope. Is she here? Who the fuck are you? Oh, shit. This is going way too fast. Vulgar, who the fuck are you? Hopeful no one. This was meant to be a safe channel. Jerry 2010, investigating what went wrong. Sexy bozo. How did they even get in here? Jerry 2010, stay calm. Hopeful no one. Can you get their location, Jerry? Jerry 2010, lol. That's our Jerry. Bastardo. That's our Jerry. Jerry 2010, gonna DM it to anyone interested. Oh boy, now you're in trouble, Adash. Yeah, you're gonna regret. Cult of Luna, dumbass. Hostage executioner. The day you decided to spy on us. They sent too early. That's funny. I don't think you can use presence on internet. The waiter brought me here. Calm down. Vulgar, fuck off. That one guy brought me here. Yeah, don't say that one guy brought me here. That's incredibly vague and not helpful. Bastardo doubtful. Thought this is where I can meet Hope. Heart's filthy lesson. Yeah, I'm calling bullshit. Jerry, how are things on your end? Jerry 2010, got the info. Thirst victim, nice. Turtle guy, you wanna die, asshole? Jesse Hooker, you will die. Cult of Luna, you will die. Fuck Ash, die. You literal die. Bastardo, sentenced to death for a shitty name their mom gave to them. Tough shit. Rude, I chose it. Well, I guess am I their mom in this situation? Because I created them? That's kind of meta, but like, I don't know if I want to be a mom. I don't know if I want to be a mom in a gender sense and just in like a general parental sense. Cult of Luna. I'm literally on my way to kill you right now. Yeah, first victim. So yeah, sorry to inform you, but you're about to die. Vulgar, rip bitch, Queen of the South, you're getting your throat slit right here, right now. Split second after you read the message, you feel someone's arms tightening around your neck. The violent return to reality catches you off guard. A jolt of panic rushes through your brain, paralyzing you momentarily. You've come to the wrong chat room, motherfucker. A ridiculous whisper rings out next to your ear, and the grip under your head gets even tighter. You start struggling, but even with your newfound supernatural strength, you have trouble breaking out. This isn't a normal human you're dealing with. Yeah, I think that's Hope. Last words? This room sucks ass. Sophie sent me here. Langley? The hand holding your chin shifts its position slightly. Don't struggle or I will break your windpipe. Or my phone. Which would end even worse for you. Sounds of a camera shutter and light flashing. Did they just take some selfies with you? Alright, that's enough fun. I'm letting you go and we can have a talk. Don't do anything stupid, Mr. Intruder. Pretty please. The mysterious assailant loosens their grip on you and gently pushes you away. You quickly turn to take a good look at them. She is so hot! She is so hot! Oh my god, I love her. Look at her. Look at the aesthetic. She looks so good. Look at her tattoos. I'm obsessed with her tattoos. She's making me... She and Sarah are both making me want to get, like, just, like, full sleeve tattoos. Like, I've been wanting it for a while, and now, like, I desperately need it. Let me just finish this. Also, the cat on her shirt. It's a pale blonde woman in her 20s, giving you a slightly judgmental looks while rapidly tapping away at her phone screen. First, you notice her outrageous outfit, seemingly thrown together from random thrift store finds. Okay, rude, and I feel called out. Then you take note of her tattoos, a sprawling tapestry of odd patterns and designs covering every visible part of her body. At first glance, it all seems aimless, but it has a consistent sense of style upon closer inspection. Her eyes focus on you a second. Gave you a scare, huh? Sorry, that's what you get for entering a lady's haven without her permission. And she's back to her phone, with her relatively small build. It's hard to believe you had trouble overpowering her physically. Well, she's a vampire. But then again, nothing is what it seems when it comes to the undead. Even compared to the vampires you've met so far, she comes off as an eccentric, curious presence. She shoots you another glance, noticing you're still cautious of her. Calm yourself, man. I won't pull anything like this anymore. It was just it feels stupid saying out loud, a vibe check? Vibe check? Yeah, I got a glimpse of your vibe on the internet, and in a dangerous situation, I'd say I've got a pretty good idea about who you really are. Oh God. I'm Hope, by the way. If you're here, you've probably heard of me. I'm still trying to figure out what voice I want to do for her, but I think it's kind of like similar to the voice I've been doing for Ash, which is my regular voice. Maybe I could do more Valley Girl, but I'm Hope, by the way. If you're here, you probably heard of me, so I went ahead and skipped the pleasantries. But come to think of it, I'm gonna skip too many of those. Yeah, she definitely fits the description you were giving by Sophie. Anyway, don't worry about the chat. It was all a game to us. No hard feelings, okay? I'll introduce you properly later. On the monitor, the chatter continues normally. Your visit is like yesterday's news, no longer relevant to anything. But look, if we're gonna talk about you, you should have something to say too. What are you doing here? About time, she asked. Note to self, she really loves the sound of her own voice. Okay, rude. Rude and offensive. Everyone's so fucking bitchy to the Malkavians. They're literally just vibing. They're literally just having the time of their lives. Like, God forbid women do anything. I'm building a coterie. I'm looking for people to join my coterie. Coterie? Been there, done that. Not interested. Unless... She takes a closer look at you. Her eyes go wide. Wait. Shit. Are you the new Langley plaything? Word seems to be getting around fast. Of course you are! It was obvious the second Langley got her hands on a new servant, she'd start building a network. Your missions tell me that could come in handy when... But Langley, that's a risky game. This kind of ambition attracts too much attention. Oh, piss off. But then again, fucking Kara. Okay, this is literally more or less just how my brain works. I talk like this out loud because I know it sounds insane, but this is literally my brain. She seems to be having a spirited argument with herself, only parts of it audible. Is it just you, or do her facial expressions and body language change a bit between one sentence and the other? Before you make certain it's not just your eyes playing tricks on you, she focuses half of her attention back on you. The other half, of course, still obsessed with her smartphone. Listen, I'm not saying I'm not interested in cooperation, but before I make a decision, I need to make sure you sort of understand me, and that I sort of understand you. And since I was planning to put on a show before you came here, I propose a little game. Hope absent-mindedly spins her phone in her hand, considering how to put her thoughts into words. Then she approaches a switch on the wall and flicks it. Neon lights flare up, illuminating the room. You take a look around. The room is certainly unique. It looks like a butcher's room, repurposed to be a living space. The modern computer in front of you starkly contrasts the ominous industrial walls. At the back, there's an overwrought bed covered in velvet with meat hooks hanging above it. Vibes. On top of the bed sheets, you notice what seem to be pieces of elaborate S&M equipment and a camera. Wait a minute. You want my help? Moderate my cam show. Cam show? Your eyebrows twitch involuntarily. This is definitely not the kind of request you expected to hear tonight. She notices your confusion. Take it or leave it, buddy. You just became a kindred, but you want to become my partner in crime? Show me you can handle yourself while watching my back in my everyday environment. She's serious. The show starts in 10 minutes. If you think yourself better than this, better walk out the door right now. I won't hold a grudge. I have better things to do. As if to prove it, she looks at something displayed on her phone and cracks a brief grin. Another reply typed down with absurd speed. Tap, 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 tap. 9 minutes now. Is now or never. Show moderator. Risk of violating the masquerade. Hi. Content warnings? Oh, yes. So, do you take the job? Why the hell not? Hope brightens up and her smile looks surprisingly sincere. Excellent! I promise you might find this interesting in more ways than one. Alright, give me a second. She spends a minute setting up the computer you used before, then urges you to sit down. The explanation of the moderator's functionalities is simple. It boils down to ignoring anyone who doesn't disrupt the chat, banning anyone who does, and kicking anyone who's causing minor trouble. Minutes later, she's already online, sitting on her bed in a provocative pose. It's a sex show, isn't it? Her voice, previously hushed, rings out with full force. I probably should have maybe done content warnings for that, but oh well, it's too late now. How are you doing tonight, hopefuls? I love how she calls her, like, fandom hopefuls. That's so cute. You peek at the chat. Cult of Luna. We're not worthy! Queen! Vulgar. Fucking A. Hopeful #1. Angel. TOT. Hell yeah, time to fuck! From Sexy Bozo. They're just thirsting. I think it's fine. You're tempted to try out the kick and ban prompts as soon as possible, but obviously you won't punish someone for a little dirty talk. Thank you! So today's show is quite special. Please welcome our new moderator, Ash. LMAO, LMAO, Heart's Filthy Lesson. Oh! Don Diego. Who? Bastardo. LMAO, sorry for sentencing you to death earlier. At least the community here seems to be a bit more welcoming this time. Looks like this place has an established hazing ritual. Or maybe they and Hope came up with one specifically for you. Who knows? You decide to stay silent. Eventually people stop riffing on you and focus entirely on the star of the show. Alright, let's get started. Let's start this one with a bang, shall we? Heart's Filthy Lesson. Ooh, Jury 2010. It begins. Cult of Luna. Queen. Poonding. Oh boy, she's gonna do it. So this is where the strip show starts? Why can't I say that? Strip show starts? Ugh. You raise your head, curious about what kind of performance she's going for. First, she opens her mouth and reveals her retractable fangs in front of the camera. Right off the bat, the online audience is treated to a sight of her wholly human set of teeth turning into a monster's maw. The image is both revolting and fascinating. She raises her left wrist for everyone to see, then bites. The fangs immediately turn her arm into a horrifying, gory mess. It's unclear if she used them to slash or bite, but one thing is for sure, no ordinary human could cause such damage. Great. If an ordinary human suffered such a wound, you would expect a geyser of blood to appear too, but it doesn't. Hope's technically a corpse, so it's impossible. Great, so she's breaking the masquerade on camera, online, in front of thousands of witnesses. She flashes a monstrous smile and starts smearing Vitae all over her hand to minimize the impact of the violent image. Then she starts drinking it up. She makes it a point to make the sight as gruesome as possible, looking like a hyena feasting on a corpse. The contrast of her behavior with her look of an Instagram model is stunning. Once she's done, she reveals her wrist to the camera for the last time. She starts making theatrical gestures with her right hand as the wound begins to mend. Shortly after the wound is gone, it's like a magician's trick. Her left hand looks like nothing bad ever happened to it. Here's an appetizer, first blood to kick off the show. While you're wondering what the hell is going on, Hope catches a glimpse of your bewildered face and turns into your direction. How's that for an opening? This is not a sex show? This isn't a sex show? Sex? What, were you counting on me getting naked in front of you or something? Oh, honey, we've just met each other. Well, that's totally fine. That's totally valid. The context kind of led me to make assumptions, but whatever, that's on me. So you expected a strip show? Yeah, sorry to disappoint. This is more like live stream digital art. The erotic subtext is there, of course. Yeah, of course, like with anything vampire. You pick up the chat, they're going wild. Cult of Luna, she did that! Jessie Hooker, for free! Ooh, I'd love to lick your wrist clean by fallen angel. Wait, hang on. Helpful number 1. I'd like to... yeah, I read that already. Bender, haha, yes! Sexy bozo, nothing more rousing than a beautiful woman. Teetering on the edge of oblivion, a rose petal dancing in the eye of a violent hurricane. Love that. But eroticism is not the key here. It's vampirism. It's a new frontier, a living art installation. In the early 90s, the Japanese artists kept producing these videotypes with beautiful women committing gory harakiri? Harakiri? Those are an inspiration. She bares her fangs again in a devious grin. But I have no interest in auto-destruction or turning myself into a victim. This is a celebration of a body I love, not self-inflicted punishment. The audience came here to marvel at a beautiful vampire and her awe-inspiring powers. Mending wounds is just one of those powers. These powers, the people watching can pay to see more. Oh, and don't worry. The only things the audience can see and hear are the things I allow them to. We can talk freely. Just remember to moderate the chat, will you? High risk of violating the Masquerade. What a joke. She's blatantly breaching it in front of anonymous viewers. Still speechless, you turn your attention to the screen. Muy guapa. Thirst victim. Alright, wait, shit. It's going too fast. XXX69. Muy guapa. Thirst victim. Alright, I'm feeling generous today. Don Diego, have you planned your next tattoo yet? Thirst victim, I'll pay for the next attraction. Dixie looking like a pink marshmallow covered in raspberry sauce. Outro guy, thirst victim, just letting you know you're based. Thirst victim, I know. Masochist, Sama. Oh yeah, I guess that's spam. But like, key smashing is a thing people do all the time. I don't want to ban someone for that. I guess we could kick him. Give the guy a kick for spamming the chat. A few seconds later, Hope groans loudly. Oh, okay. That was a mistake. Whatever, it's fine. What the hell did you kick Masochist for? It's normal for people to show their excitement like this from time to time. Maybe he'll interpret it as his queen hurting him and be grateful, but stop messing up. Oh well. A special message appears on the chat log claiming somebody has successfully sponsored the first goal of the show. Hope smiles and picks up a bag of blood from underneath the bed. It must have been retrieved from a blood bank. She showcases the label to the camera for everyone to see. Heart's filthy lesson, drink up. Fuck Ash, drink up. Thirst victim, drink up. Heart, hopeful number one, drink up. Heart, heart, heart. Hope pours all the contents of the bags into her throat. You have no doubt it's real blood. But wonder why the viewers would be so satisfied with something that's so easy to fake. Don't worry, it pays well enough. You don't even bother to tell her that this is not what you're thinking about. Safe to assume she knows. So, what do you know about the kindred and the internet? Have they told you anything? While she's waiting for someone to sponsor her next vampiric feat, she decides to start a conversation. No, nothing. Well, that makes sense. Not the first thing you teach to a fledgling. See, some of us used to experiment with our own secure networks. We tried to build our own information hubs, social networks, everything. She's still working the phone in one hand while looking for something under the bed with the other. How many things can she concentrate at one time exactly? Then one day, the NSA got in. Turns out elders really never got the hang of proper security practices, or the sigils they used to smear on their screens didn't exactly work as advertised. Then, of course, all the other 3 lettered intelligence agencies in the world got the intel, and a lot of them decided bloodsuckers were the perfect new enemies for our post-9/11 times. Wow, that's interesting. The Second Inquisition came into being. Ever heard of the Second Inquisition came into being? Ever heard of it? That's interesting because I thought the Second Inquisition was in Swan Song, and I thought Swan Song was after this. Or maybe this is after Swan Song. Or maybe it's another Inquisition after the Second Inquisition? I don't remember. A lot of our kind died just because they were too present online. Right now, the remains of our old networks serve as government honeypots kept alive to attract fledglings and hunt them down. You post a certain keyword on Twitter or Facebook, you get tagged for investigation. You fit certain patterns, you get tagged for investigation. So there is a certain thrill in becoming an online presence without attracting attention from the authorities. She stretches on the bed. I hope you stop monitoring the chat. Of course not. You're not as good as dividing your attention as she is. You correct your mistake and check the recent messages. Thirst victim. Aww. Jesse Hooker. Is she talking to somebody? Sexy bozo. Can't wait for the real thing to start. Poonding this 2 monitor setup rules. Call of Duty on one screen, drop dead hotness on the second screen. He's the only woman I don't hate. Yikes. Hope is crabs and gonorrhea. Hope, more like my favorite hoe. Okay, I think we gotta ban that guy, or kick him. I don't know. Are we banning or kicking? Let's ban, why not? This kind of nickname only suggests trouble. You get rid of them permanently. Good job. She's keeping close tabs on you. Anyway, yeah. When the Nosferatu admitted to the Camarilla their network got compromised, the elders went like batshit insane. Internet communications became strictly forbidden. There were executions. A lot of people who use social media to secretly contact their mortal families and lovers got offed. That goes without saying. But if you weren't just careful, even the most innocent web usage could result in being punished with the final death. Thanks to user Dick Steele, the next goal has just gotten successfully funded. Turtle Guy, let's go! Dago, Vanishing Act, Bastardo. Dehumanize yourself and face the bloodshed. She raises her hand, 3 fingers up, 2 fingers up, one finger up. The countdown ends and she immediately disappears from the screen like a ghost. Yeah, that's obfuscate, the ability of Malkavians to basically turn invisible. I used a lot of that when I was playing Bloodlines to do stealth missions. You can still see her on the bed, but the live feed indicates there's nobody there. When you deeply focus on the digital image, you swear you can make out some unusual glitching where her silhouette should be, but it could very well just be placebo. You ready for this? 3, 2, 1. A flash of the camera. The instant she reappears on the screen, she takes a selfie, sticking her tongue out in a provocative manner. The chat room explodes in cheers again. She is their vampire queen. You briefly wonder about her being glued to the screen. Is this the fantasy everyone is here for? A girl showing off cheap magic tricks while lazily browsing her social media? You realize you're way out of your depth here. Meanwhile, Hope decides to continue her lecture. Those were some wild times, especially in New York. Well, most of them have no clue as to our real nature. A lot of clandestine organizations have classified us as national threats. And since this is where the towers fell, the agencies are very much present around here, looking for easy PR victories. That's very interesting, the connection to 9/11, because, like, there is a certain, Sara talks about this a bit in the Game Assist video essay on vampires and pandemics, talking about Vampire, the game specifically, but talking about the nature of the vampire as, like, a racialized sort of threat, like capitalizing on sort of being born out of Western European fears, also as like an anti-Semitic stereotype, you know, drinking blood, controlling everything from behind the scenes as a part of this like secret society, which is a thing in this game, and like being burned by crucifixes. And then there's like the queerness of vampires and the queer coding of vampires, which is interesting. And the in some ways you could argue like disability coding of vampires. Just like general marginalization through the writing and construction of vampires. And then there's some weird tensions there, because there's the contrast of that with the whiteness of vampires and the with you know, rich white European aristocracy, with like vampires often being rich and having old money, and like also being very concerned with like blood purity and stuff in a very like yikesy, eugenicsy way. Anyways, they get into it in greater depth in their video essay, but yeah, I think that's interesting. The last SI raid here was just... What's SI stand for? Secret Intelligence? The last SI raid here was just a few years ago, and it was a big one. Stirred up the hornet's nest something fierce. But although it's 2019, oh, I guess this was made in 2019 because it is 2019. So I guess this was after Swan Song, because no, I think Swan Song is also set in 2019, so who's to say if this is before or after Swan Song? I'm really not sure. But although it's 2019, NYC got ruled by someone who got embraced before World War fucking II, and the cam as a whole got really spooked and swore off the internet. Of course they're not dumb and understand you can't really coexist with modern kind without the internet. It's a gray zone right now, like piracy, technically frowned upon, but let the one without sin cast the first stone. Oh, that reminds me of that Jeanette quote from Bloodlines. Let she who is without sin cast the fierce stone. It's such a dumb quote, but I love it so much. Sorry, I keep making Bloodlines references. I am Vampire the Masquerade trash. The SI is a real threat, no joke. But in many senses, the darkest place is right under the candle. Oh, or Spanish Inquisition, maybe. I just realized that. You take another look at the screen. Bender, we want blood. Fuck Ash. How about some bad stuff? Can you do bad stuff? Can you show us next time? Jesse Hooker, it's been a long, hard day. Please give me a shout out. A familiar nickname pops up. Masochist Sama, more spamming. Okay, well, I got in trouble for kicking them last time, so should I kick them again, or... I don't know, I got in trouble for kicking them last time, so... I could try. You give the guy a kick for spamming the chat. The message is deleted so fast. Hope might have not even noticed. A duty carried out well. You're surprised to feel an inkling of pride. Oh yeah, fun fact about being a vampire. We can sweat and pee if we just exert ourselves really hard. Some of us can even orgasm. We can even cry, but only tears of blood. Something I always dreamed of doing when I was 14. So romantic, and it drives them crazy. As proof of her words, a scarlet tear starts running down her face. The chat goes wild. This seems to be exactly the kind of thing they've been waiting for. Thirst victim. Ah! Turtle guy. An angel fell down from heaven. Oh my god. Oh Christ alive. Okay, Hopeful number one, little like emoji thingies. I don't know how to describe that. You get the idea. Bastardo. Oh, she did it again. Hostage executioner. Beatific. Turtle guy. I hope your tortured soul finds some calm eventually. FUCC, man. Can you imagine USA assembling a blood-sucking squad that would just cruise by the border and suck blood out of any illegal they found? The very thought gives me the biggest boner. Jesus Christ, we gotta ban that guy. And banned. Just to be clear, you realize what we're doing here is a blatant breach of the Masquerade, right? I honestly expected you to leave or inform somebody by now, but you haven't, have you? You try to focus on the chat. A familiar nickname is displayed on the screen. Oh my god, okay, we're banning you. More spam and you're not listening, we gotta ban. Looks like Mr. Masochist needs a longer break. After you ban him, you hear Hope's voice. Good job handling that guy. Great, if nothing else works out, seems like you fit this job at the very least. In any case, the last goal has just been funded. It's time for the great finale. This is what you've all been waiting for, right? Thirst victim, yes, Queen! Jerry 10, yes! Queen Heart's filthy lesson, yes, Queen! Her voice has changed. She gets closer to the camera, letting her face fill the frame of the live feed. Her mesmerizing eyes are focused purely on the viewers. You wanted blood? Come out into the streets, claw out your neighbor's throats, slash their veins, and drink up. Sexy bozo, yes queen. Punig, yes queen. Jesse Hooker, yes queen. Waifu. Hope's presence becomes absolutely horrifying, and it influences the chat in some incomprehensible way. Everyone starts typing like they're possessed. That's dominate. Yeah, that's dominate. I think that's also a Malkavian power. It's either dominate or hysteria. No, it's not hysteria, because it seems like she's like influencing them to do her bidding. So like, I don't think it's hysteria. I think it's probably dominate. I don't know. The powers are all a little different in every different game, so it's hard to tell. Liberate yourself from the shackles of ordinary mortality. Make them scream. Feel the warmth of their entrails. Okay, now everyone's spamming. Cult of Luna. Thirst victims. Hopeful number one. What the hell is she doing to those people? What have you gotten yourself into? Transcend your bodies. Release the message of hope into the world. She jerks violently for a second, then falls down on the bed like a marionette that just had its strings severed. She exhales loudly a few times and laughs. When she does, the room goes dark again. Alright, that's enough. Instead of continuing, she does something with her phone. The stream ends, and the chat instantly becomes dead quiet. Let me take over. The atmosphere in the room has completely changed. She's already put herself together and stood up. Now she's walking towards you. At Vulgar, what the fuck just happened? At Jerry10, guess the show is over. Everyone relax and go home. At Hostage Executioner, oh, and I was almost ready to come, bros. At Cult of Luna, hostage, I swear on my father's grave, one day I will find and kick the ever-living shit out of you. Every line she delivers, she changes her voice, the way she puts her lips together, and even the way she moves. You've caught glimpses of her acting this way, but only now have you started to figure it out. Wait a minute, does that mean... At Miss Point du Lac, interview with the vampire reference! That's the interview with the vampire reference! Oh my god, sorry. I'm immortal, I'm bored, I'm separated from most vampires in the city by a generational chasm, and I'm so goddamn lonely. The internet used to be my only friend. At Infodump's delivery service, years ago I started researching Talupa's collective unconsciousness, all the mumbo-jumbo at the intersection of psychology and spirituality. I decided to experiment. The show was fake. At Honey Legion, a few years ago I was an Instagram fashionista, a successful erotic model, a vital part of pop culture commentariat, a viral shitposter, a cryptocurrency expert. At Honey Legion. All of my internet cells started signal boosting each other, paving the way for new ones. I became a one-woman empire, surrounded by legions of psychofans. The chat was fake. At me. Some may think of it as a dissociative identity disorder, but that's bullshit. Everyone has online alter egos they buried. I just resurrected them, gave birth to new ones, and let them crossbreed. So she's making up different people to be her fans, to support her various online personalities so she can be famous without technically breaking the masquerade. Technically. Or like showing herself to actual humans. You know, so in a way that's kind of sad. In a way that's kind of sad because, like, God, she must be so lonely to like have to like create all of these fans that are like different versions of her just to get some attention. And the thing that she says about this isn't dissociative identity disorder. Like, well, obviously psychology and within a Western framework is problematic. I've talked about this in my No One Likes a Mad Woman video essay, and I've spoken about this on stream before. But, the idea of, like, DID, dissociative identity disorders, that you have, like, different alters, different personalities, different people, essentially, living in one host body, and sometimes, like, different people are in control. And there's usually, like, memory loss between, like, switching, is how I understand it. But if these aren't actually, like, other people, I mean, it's tricky, but, like, if these aren't actually other people, she's just creating online alter egos, like she said, to, like, be her fans for the sake of interacting with each other. They aren't actual, like, genuine people that have, like, genuine personalities that have, like, formed within her as, like, a complete, like, identity. Like, they're just, like, people she's pretending to be in various... to, like, put on different faces and shit. Like, it's hard to tell where the line is the interesting thing, and that's the other thing. That's, like, what I was talking about before about the Malkavian thing of, like, what's madness and what's just like a different perspective, or like a different way of looking at things, or a different way of being, like who gets to decide that, who gets to say. And I think that's interesting. Her constant tapping at the phone, even during the show, somehow she's capable of impersonating an entire chat room. That is impressive, though. Like, I don't think I could do that, creating that many alter egos and like having them interact all at once. Literally a perfect angel. I don't even have a self that could disassociate or be mentally ill. I'm a host, a living database. That's sad. And concerning, but kind of understandable. Like, to a certain extent, I kind of get the feeling of, like, you don't even know, like, who you are, like, who the real you is, because you're so used to, like, performing or putting on faces and, like, masking for the sake of, like, different people and different audiences. Very Armand core. Watch Interview with the Vampire, the reboot. I live because I found it fun to be an information conduit, to process trends and support the ones I deem worthy. There was no Masquerade violation. She was showing off her skills all along. She put you into a world of pure fiction the same way she was testing you when she attacked you from the back. Damn, she's good at this. Of course you can just ignore what I'm saying and decide I'm just another deranged Malkavian. But hey, annihilation of the self is the only way to survive in the 21st century. That's also interesting. Of course you can just ignore what I'm saying and decide I'm just another deranged Malkavian. It's like the text like being self-aware almost, and like kind of like poking at its like previous like versions of itself is interesting. And it also makes me kind of sad, like just that statement, because you feel it when you play in Bloodlines as Malkavian. Everyone's just constantly dismissing what you say and like not taking you seriously because you're a Malk. At Android and NutriJam. Okay, I'm not even doing different voices for these anymore because it's just getting exhausting, so I'm just gonna keep doing her voice. If there was ever an era that demanded images of beautiful people transcending beyond humanity and inspiring others to do the same, it's this one. At Manhole Mermaid. Although for now, because of Masquerade, my audience is quite limited. Speaking of, you want to be the star of my next movie? Sure, why not? At Manhole Mermaid. I have a hunch you're just saying that, but hey, in a way this too is transcending beyond self. That is the question. But yeah, your test is over. Now the question is, do I want to work with you? She puts away her phone for the first time since you've met her and gives you a good hard look. At Vibe Check Vivo. Guess I can give it a shot. Yeah, you're not that dumb, you're not that boring, and you're kind of cute. At Airdoll XOXO. Don't worry, no more modeling jobs. Mods get attached, and that's always bad news. She grabs your arm and starts leading you out of her room. At GPs. I put you through enough shit. Next time, I'll let you in on a little job I'm doing. Walk the streets, and you'll see why Sophie told you to contact me. She leads you through a labyrinth of gray doors. It's a different route than the one you made your way through in. At Unconscious Diagram of Psychic Event. The city is so much more than what its elites consider real. Stick with me and I'll guide you to places Camarilla elders couldn't reach in 100 years. She leads you out of the building into the back alleys. At Shitty Trailer Voice. Even if someone else rules the streets, We will rule the information highways. This is the power of hope. This is the power of hope. That's interesting. And I feel some type of way about it. I'm just like, having bad solidarity feelings. Anyways. Oh shit, the shadow just moved. It scared the crap out of me. Okay. She lets out a theatrical laugh and disappears. You don't even notice when she leaves you alone, but you assume everything went as well as it could. New ally. The power of hope. As you walk off into the night, everything around you feels a little less tangible than it did a few hours ago. Alright, let's rest. Or we could try and do 2 in one night, because I think you only have a certain number of nights, so like I don't want to run out of time. So maybe we could try and meet with another one before we rest. Because we still have time. So what do we want to do? When I say we, I mostly mean me, because I'm the one making the decisions. Let's think about this. I think I want to meet with Tamika before the night's over, because I'm curious about her. Oh, you need to rest. So I can't do more than one tonight. Never mind. So we are going to rest first. Alright. You notice something strange by the front door of your haven. A letter's been slipped under the door in a cream-colored, old-fashioned envelope. There's no name on it, but you know it's meant for you. Opening the letter, it's clear it's been sent by someone incredibly old-fashioned, rich, or a fan of classic stationery. No normal person sends letters like this. The note is short and terse, written in elegant, delicate handwriting. You're cordially invited to a rendezvous at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine. I'll be waiting to make your acquaintance tomorrow night. Look for me closer to God. Interesting. There's no other information. It looks like you have a mysterious invitation for the following night. Alright. Great. So now we have another one of you. Faith and myth. So yeah, I think that's that might be a side quest. I'm not sure, but I do want to. I really do want to meet with Tamika, and then you can meet with Hope again. Jezebel's Childer. Sophie mentioned a gangrel neonate by the name of Tamika, who's made herself a haven in Prospect Park. The Farrells aren't exactly a social bunch, even by kindred standards, but if you can keep her from clawing your eyes out just long enough, she might be persuaded to join you. Yeah, I definitely want to meet with her. You make your way through the Grand Army Plaza, passing the Soldiers and Sailors Memorial Arch. You can't help but feel a tinge of nostalgia as you picture the place as you've seen it 1,000 times in broad daylight, teeming with life. You quickly get over it and pass through the Northwest Gate, West Gate into Prospect Park. The park is its usual maze of unkempt foliage and dimly lit alleys. Silence hangs in the air as it would at this time of night, and there doesn't appear to be any sign of kindred presence. You start to suspect Langley's sources fed her a bunch of bullshit, but you're not willing to give up just yet. You take a deep breath, your nostrils fill with the scent of dead leaves, and something else. A faint whiff of copper, too subtle for a human to notice, but your newfound kindred intuition tells you that you're in the right spot. Yeah, these are Tamika's hunting grounds, alright. It's more than a hunch, you can feel it in your veins. Now it's only a matter of finding her, unless, of course, she finds you first. As you ponder your options, you hear footsteps coming from behind a line of trees, quick but evenly paced. Most likely a late-night jogger. No vampire would take kindly to you feeding in their domain, but then again, perhaps you could kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Oh, the thing is, we are hungry. We haven't fed in the past 2 nights, but it's probably going to kick things off on the wrong foot with Tamika if we feed in her territory. Hey, Sarah! Welcome to stream. It's going pretty good. It's been a pretty chill, quiet stream so far. I wonder if people are just getting scared off by my very oppressive eye makeup. I kind of maybe overdid it a bit, but I don't know. I decided to commit to the bit at a certain point, and I just kept going. So this is where we're at. But yeah, you missed. We just met with Hope because Sophie was like, "Hey, you need a coterie," which is basically like your like little friend. You just make like a little like group of vampires who are like your allies, and they like have your back, and you like share information, and you're kind of like, it's basically like your comrades, but in vampire society. And you're not actually organizing to overthrow oppression. You're just trying to keep each other alive and out of vampire trouble, I guess, and stop other vampires from fucking you over. But yeah, so we met with Hope, the Malkavian. No such thing as overdoing it. Yeah, actually, that's a great point. Fair enough. So, we met with the Malkavian, and that was really fun and interesting. She's basically this like computer social media like presence influencer kind of type, and she's really hot and cool and has a bunch of tattoos. And she basically was like doing this like cam show where she was like showing off her powers online and stuff, and basically breaking the masquerade, and she has you moderating the show. And like the whole thing basically turns out to be a test to see if you would rat her out or not for breaking the masquerade. And like all of her so-called fans, the people like commenting in her chat and stuff, were actually accounts that she made, and she's like texting on her phone behind her back the entire time, but she's actually like commenting on the stream. So like all of these different personas that she created online are just her. Like she just created all these alter egos basically to like be her fan base, which is kind of sad, but also kind of impressive and cool that she was able to like keep track of like that many like online personas all at once. But yeah, she eventually agrees to join our coterie, and now we're meeting with the gangrel who Sophie told us to introduce ourselves to see if she wants to join our coterie. And I'm feeling like we probably shouldn't take advantage of the feeding opportunity and kill the midnight jogger, because Tamika might not take kindly to that, us feeding in her territory. So let's just use aspects. Focus your senses to locate Tamika. The world opens up around you like a blood-scented flower. A myriad of smells and sounds pound your senses like a battering ram. You focus, trying to drown out the noise and isolate any trace of your quarry. And there it is, a rustling of leaves, no further than 100 yards to the south, too big for an animal, too quiet and meticulous for a human. You follow the sound, careful not to make a spectacle of yourself. Even at this heightened stage, tracking one of the outcasts seems like a tricky matter. From what you can tell about them, the hunger is never more than a few steps from becoming the hunted. The hunter is never a few more steps from becoming the hunted. Yeah, that makes more sense. All of a sudden, the rustling stops. The world goes eerily silent. By the time you realize something is wrong, it's already too late. Hunter hunted. In a split second, the air by the side of your head swirls like a vortex. Driven by sheer instinct, you lean back just as 5 finger-shaped razors cut through the darkness, missing your face by an inch. A clawed shadow jumps back a few paces, preparing to correct its mistake. You catch a glimpse of the assailant. Looks pretty animalistic, all right. But he's not the one you're looking for. For starters, it's a he. Just as he's about to lunge at you, a snarl resounds from the bushes nearby, stopping your foe in their tracks. Out of the shadows emerges a young woman, baring her teeth ever so slightly. She walks over calmly, her eyes fixed on your assailant. Her presence is enough to make him reconsider attacking you, but not to withdraw completely. He glances over at her, puffing up his chest. Stay out of it, Tam. I smelled him first. Tam, how about that? She raises an eyebrow, but remains silent. Her compatriot turns back towards you. You shouldn't have come here, pretty boy. I'm gonna fuck you up so bad you'll be wearing your tongue as a fucking necktie. I keep getting like jump scared by I guess that confirms that we're meant to be a man. I keep getting jump scared by the gender thing. I'm like, wait, what? Tamika looks at you expectantly. Ugh. I'm debating whether or not I should be vicious or not. And see if I don't know if she'll respond well to that. Me being antagonistic or trying to like play along or whatever and placate. I don't know. I'm kind of in the mood to be a little chaotic. I kind of want to be a little antagonistic, but it might not be the best idea. So you can bark, let's see you bite. Alright, boy, let's see if your bite is as bad as your bark. Clearly taken aback, he looks over to Tamika as if gauging her reaction. Guess I know who the alpha is around here. A barely visible smile creeps up on Tamika's lips. The man's eyes narrow, although you can't really see it. You could bet the hair on the back of his neck stood up. Shut your fucking mouth, pretty boy. You should have run when you had the chance. A fierce growl echoes across the alley, stopping the savage in his tracks. Okay. Tamika walks over to her comrade, her fangs glistening in the dim lamplight. She puts her hand on the side of his head, caressing his hair and tugging at his ear as if she was scolding a puppy. She leans over and speaks in a voice that's firm yet oddly affectionate. It's okay, Raoul. I'll handle it from here. The male gangrel looks at her with a mix of timidity and resentment. Then he turns back to you. You want to waste time on this asshole, Tam? Be my guest. Having said his piece, Raoul retreats into the shadows, although if you were to guess, he's likely to stay within earshot. With her companion gone, Tamika turns to you once more. What do you want? Straight to the point. Straight to the point, I like that. Straight to the point, huh? I like that. I don't care what you like. Now quit stalling. You have something to say? Say it. I'm looking for partners. I don't know if I would have phrased it like that, but alright. I come with an offer. I'm willing to offer you my services, such as they are. All I would hope for in return is a fruitful, long-lasting relationship. So, you wanna help me with something? Because you wanna be my friend? That about right? That's right. Well, it sounded better the way I said it, but yeah, that's the gist of it. Jesus, don't be an asshole. Uh-huh. She puts on a veneer of skepticism, but you can tell she's intrigued. That's very earnest of you. It's also kind of silly, but I think I'm okay with it. What I'm not okay with is putting my ass on the line and getting stabbed in the back for my trouble. So why exactly should I trust anything you say? I don't expect to do this. Should I mention Jezebel? That's probably a bad idea. Can I make it worth her while? Because I don't know if we have anything to offer. I can make it worth her while. Her expression sours in an instant. For a moment there, you almost had me fooled. I should have known better. Oh shit. Tamika looks to the side as if you've hurt her feelings. From what you've seen so far, it's an oddly emotive reaction for her. Quick to realize it, she straightens up and turns her piercing gaze towards you. Oh shit. Did I really just fuck that up? Ugh. We have nothing more to talk about. Clearly we started off on the wrong foot. Yes, you did. Now leave. I will only ask once. Shit. Well, I fucked that up. And with that, you take your leave. You know better than to argue with this scorned gangrel. Maybe I should have mentioned Jezebel. Huh, I wonder. Still, you can't help but feel a tinge of regret. This could have been the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Oh well. Too late now.